guys, welcome to the 22nd episode of F4. Today will be all about the Dean's List Award. I'm so sorry for the slight bit of delay. We had a co-host not show up, but it's alright. We'll carry on and go through the whole episode. We'll start with introducing all the co-hosts, and we'll start with Zaria. Just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Zaria D'Souza. I'm from Team 3494 in Indiana, and I'm a 2016 Dean's List winner.
Awesome. And then we'll go to Adam.
Hi, I'm Adam Volnikovsky. I'm on Team 225 Techfire, and I am a 2016 Dean's List finalist.
And then we'll go to Jessa.
Hi, I'm Jessa Westheimer. I'm the team captain of 118 The Robonauts from League City, Texas, and I am a 2016 Dean's List winner.
Alright, so we'll get straight into the episode. First of all, before we talk about anything, well, what is this Dean's List Award? So basically, the Dean's List Award, there's 3 levels to the Dean's List Award. Oh, we lost her. She might still be talking, but we lost her camera.
Okay, well, guys.
We'll continue on. Maybe? Yeah, you're loading again. Okay, cool. So the Dean's List Award is an award to exemplify the first ideals, specifically in the areas of like leadership, and it's overall just the almost like Woody Flowers award for students. So you can nominate 2 students from your team to go for the award. It's a little different way that it works in districts or regionals. We'll talk about that in a second. And essentially there is 3 or 4 levels of the award. So nominations open in November 10th apparently, so getting close, I guess. And they close mid-February usually. I don't think there's like a full closing date. Make sure your mentor knows the date, because I'm sure there are people that write a whole essay, don't submit it on time, and don't end up getting in on the award. So I guess that's a good time to talk about the essay. So the essay is 4,000 characters, submitted by mentors. It includes leadership and outreach. So I know there's a very different, people do their essays a lot very differently. So some people do more like bullet pointed essays, some people do more story essays, and then some people just like list achievements more. I'm just wondering, guys, like, what did your mentors do? I'm sure everyone got the email, right, with their essay, so you guys know what was there. So I guess we'll start with Zari. What was like the format that your mentor took to write the essay?
Mentor kind of took the usual format of an intro and then just different points outlining different stuff that I'd done for the team, and then just like quick conclusion. So it wasn't anything bulleted, just a regular essay.
Adam, was anything different?
No, I would say mine was pretty close to that. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, an essay you'd write in English class, but it was kind of just running through everything I've done and just kind of how I contribute to the team and what they thought of me.
And then, Jessa, what did your team do?
So my mentors just kind of asked me, like, they know a lot of the stuff that I've done for the team,
right,
but they asked me to put together like a bulleted list for them just to make writing the essay a little bit easier. And then as far as the final format of the essay goes, it was just a regular style essay. There were kind of like some anecdotal parts, some parts with more facts and data. I mean, it was just kind of a good mix. It was a quality essay, I'd say, honestly.
Nice. Yeah, mine was kind of similar. Like, my mentor pretty much knew everything I did, but he was like, can you give me a list of things just to like throw in there? And then there was like an essay, and then like some of like extra achievements mixed in. Because, I mean, he knows most about me, but, like, there's times where I just go and volunteer in an event and, like, don't tell him. So I guess, like, he had to add that list in so he actually knows what I've been doing. But, yeah, I think that's kind of basically what everyone does. A list is not a bad idea if your mentor asks for it, just to make sure they hit all the points. And I'm sure they want to hit all the points, too, because no team wants you not to win. And, yeah, that's kind of, I guess, how the essay goes. Make sure it's submitted on time, because I don't think they make too many exceptions for that. And it's just submitted right through Tim, so it's not a big deal. Is there a character count? Oh, 4,000 characters.
Yeah, 4,000.
Right. There we go. All right, so the essay gets submitted to your regional or district of choice. It's only one regional, so unlike the Chairman's Award where you can actually present at 2 regionals, you can only interview for the Dean's List Award at a single regional. So if you're going to 2 regionals...
Or one district event.
Or one district event. Yeah, so I guess we'll talk about districts. I'll go through what we do for regionals, and then you can talk about districts. So yeah, for regionals, you can only do it at 1. So some people go for their home one. I know that's what a lot of people do, so like their parents could be there if they get it. Or some people do it for the one that they think they can win it the easiest at. The way I say to that is you never know. Like, it's too hard to know who's, with you, who's going against you, so just, I would go for the one that's the home one, or pick it out of the hat, the first one, whatever you want to do. So how does that exactly go for districts in terms of the interview?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's just one more step, which I'm not sure how I feel about in terms of, whether it's equally hard to get to the finalist level through districts or through regionals. Or I think it works out in the end because of more district events and that kind of thing. But yeah, so just all the nominees. I'm not sure if you actually pick which district event.
I was assigned.
Yeah, I think you're assigned, if I remember correctly, from my 2 years interviewing in district
Alright.
events. Yeah.
Because I'm sure they do a lot less. I mean, you're talking, if you have 66 team regional, there's only like 25 kids at most actually going for the award, and I'm sure at a district event with like 35 people, you're having like 10 kids probably viewing it, especially if you're
If
even,
yeah.
right? So yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. We'll talk about the different levels of the Dean's List Award, because there's 3 levels in regional level, and there's 4 levels in the district level. It's a little different per district. It's not standardized completely, so we'll get to that. So the interview, it's 7 minutes long. Did anybody's not go over? Because mine was like 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So
Over.
I think it's supposed to be 7 minutes long.
I think they timed me.
Did
I don't
they?
know.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's intense.
Wow.
Well, they were doing half of all the Dean's List interviews that district, so they had to be careful.
Actually, I think at my district one, they were pretty strict about the timing, and I actually almost was like a minute late because I had a match. I'm the driver, but then the regional, the Mar District champs, oh, it went so over. It was like 20 minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
so you actually re-interview in district?
Yeah, you do have to
twice?
re-interview at the district championship.
Not totally. So Indiana doesn't re-interview.
Oh,
You
really?
get one interview and you're
This
done.
is confusing. All right, so if you're in Mar, you re-interview. If you're in Indiana, apparently you don't. Regional it's only one regional, so you don't have to re-interview. So, Jess, did yours go over?
Yeah, so they also timed mine, but then they were like the timer went off, but I didn't say anything and they didn't notice. So they just kind of kept going, and then they were like, "Oh crap, it's been 10 minutes after your deadline." And I was like, "Okay." And then they were like, "I really want to talk to you some more, but you have to leave." And I was like, "I get it."
Yeah. So
I was like the last person though who was interviewing, so it was kind of
not that big of a
like
deal. Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah. So for me, I expected it to be strict 7 minutes. For chairmans, they don't let you go over. They're pretty strict with that. And I actually had a chairman's. The schedule originally had it during a match, and I couldn't do that because I'm a driver. So I had to switch my Dean's List with someone else, which ended up being right next to the chairman's interview time. Not a big deal, except when you go 15 minutes instead of 7, and then you miss half your chairman's presentation. So I went out of the Dean's List and then ran over to chairman's, and then I was they were halfway done. I'm like, "What's up? Okay, cool." So that happened, but yeah, in the end, didn't win chairman's, but Dean's List went all right. So, yeah. So during the interviews, obviously, we found out none of them are too strict when it comes to time, and you tell your story. So I didn't. It's not like with chairman's where you have a presentation and then you start questions. It's questions the whole time. So yeah, I guess we could talk about sort of what questions they asked you. So Zari, what were some of the questions they asked you you didn't expect, or you did expect, just some of the questions.
The first question they asked me was, "How did you get involved in first?"
All right.
And that just kind of ended up in this really long exposition.
Yeah.
And then, that kind of led into what I did. And then as I went, they would ask me different questions to clarify stuff. So it was more like me talking for most of the time and them just asking clarification questions. And then that was 10 minutes.
All right, that's interesting. So, Adam, how did that go for you?
Yeah, I think that's probably the exact same question they asked me. How did you get involved with first? And I think all the questions they ask are pretty standard. It's just kind of finding ways to come up with creative answers to it, make yourself stand out, and not just spitting back at them the question.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the kind of the weirdest part I felt in the interview was not really knowing how much to say about each question. That's
Right.
especially my first year, because I interviewed 2 years. I was a semifinalist sophomore year and then finalist junior, and especially that was kind of the biggest thing I learned from doing it the first time, that kind of realize how much you're actually supposed to say. And like you could say a lot if you have a lot to say, but yeah, they're not like going to cut you off. So be careful from droning on.
Yeah. So, Jessa, what did they ask you? Similar questions?
Yeah. So, like, the judges are just, all in all, just from what I've heard and from my personal experience, they're just really interested in getting to know what you specifically did for your team. Because they know that since you've been nominated by your team, they know that everyone who's interviewing there is going to have kind of like a similar experience in terms of leading a team and being able to effectively communicate.
Right.
So they're trying to get out of it what you uniquely did for your team. So they kind of asked me just like generally what I did, and then I kind of started answering, and then they found a couple of things that they hadn't heard before, and then they just kind of asked spin-off questions on that. And then they really emphasized like what I plan to do with FIRST, like beyond being a student in FIRST, like a FIRST participant. They asked me about volunteering, if I have any future plans with FIRST, if I want to work with FIRST in the future. And so that's because that's a big part of the Dean's List Award, is that they want you to continue your involvement. They want you to strengthen the alumni network.
Yeah, so I'd say it's probably similar to Jessa, probably the closest. Cause they stress the end point a lot on mine as well. And I was like, I'll mentor a team in college, etc. They want to hear that you're willing. You're not just gonna drop out of FIRST and like go into like some medical degree and like forget FIRST altogether. So like they asked like, oh, what major are you looking at? Are you trying to go to a school that has a heavy FIRST influence? Those are some questions they asked. And they did start with like the how'd you get involved first question. They did a couple more canned questions, I think, than everyone else. Like I answered the question, and then they went into a couple of extra ones. Like probably the hardest one, the one that like I had an answer for, but like it was still not that easy, was what does FIRST mean to you? Because it's so like you have to try to make it not sound like completely cliche and stuff. So it's like everything, but like obviously they don't want to hear that because what's that? Everyone said that. So I think that was totally something that was like a little bit of a harder question. So I prepare for that just in case that one gets asked, and just have everything in order, like what you've done, what you plan on doing, know from the past to the future for the interview. I think it's important.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of what how the interview goes. I think probably if I had to choose where I like why I think the judges chose me, I think the volunteering thing was like when they started asking me about volunteering, and I told them I already volunteered. They liked that a lot. So if you really want this, volunteering at events before you get there, it's probably not a bad idea. And volunteering is a blast anyway, so I totally recommend volunteering at any event you can go to. We're surrounded by events here in New York, despite not being able to attend any of them, so totally go volunteer at them. And yeah, so I guess we'll read that into the different levels of Dean's List. So as soon as you get nominated by your team, as soon as the essay gets submitted, you're a semifinalist. They hand you a semifinalist pin at the regional, your name's in the book, and you can put that in your college essay. So here's the pin. It's maroon and it has the logo, and you wear it the whole regional, and everyone's like, congratulations. And then from there, at a regional, you go into finalists. So if you're one of the 2 people that gets chosen, every regional is 2 people, doesn't matter the size, if you're at a regional 38 or 66, same thing. They choose 2 people. A lot of people think that it has something to do with gender, like they choose a male and a female. Not true. There's plenty of regionals where they chose 2 females. At my regional, they chose 2 males. So it could go any way. That's not a thing. And yeah, I mean, from there, you're going to write the St. Louis. You have the chance to become a winner. So if you do become a regional winner, you go right from, finalist, semifinalist, finalist to winner. But apparently it's way different in districts. So I guess we'll talk about the 2 different ways from the 2 districts. We should have got people from like every district. I feel like we needed that. So Zari, what did they do?
Yeah, it's probably even different in Michigan.
Yeah, I'm sure it's different in Michigan. So Zari, how did it go in? Is there like a finalist nominee position or something like that?
Yeah. So what happens is each district actually gets a different number of finalists they get to send to champs.
Okay.
So your smaller districts like North Carolina, Peachtree, Indiana, they're only going to get 2.
Okay.
But bigger districts like MAR and PNW and Michigan and New England, they're going to get a whole lot more.
Okay.
So depending how many you get to send to champs overall and how many can be finalists, that's going to depend on your district. But it's even different at the bottom level. So when you go into Tim's and your mentor enters you, you actually get signed up for the championship, whatever your championship is for your district. But you don't get first interviewed at that district.
Right.
Because that would mean if you had a district of 50 teams for Indiana, they would be interviewing at most 100 people in 2 days,
Right.
which is too much. So what they've done is they've split you up between events.
Okay.
So you'll get assigned an event that your team is going to, hopefully, and then you'll interview there. And at the end of the event, they'll actually choose a certain number of people. It's really up to them. At my event, they chose 3, and they chose 3 at a different event where I was not interviewed. And so there were 6 of us that were in this weird middle ground. So we were semifinalists, but none of us were finalists yet. So we kind of unofficially called it finalist nominees, even though it really isn't an official term.
So yeah, it's like some weird middle ground where like you're progressed from semifinalists. So you beat out those people, but now you're with each other, and you're like, who's the lucky two?
Basically, the biggest reason I wanted to actually get out of that middle ground and be a finalist was so I didn't have to like explain this weird limbo situation in like a college resume, so I could just say clear cut, I'm a finalist.
So yeah, how does it work in Mars? Is it a little different than how it works?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty similar. From my experience, I've never heard of anyone being like having to interview at an event their team didn't go to, because I don't think it's like that saturated. Our events, they're pretty spread out. So yeah, I just interviewed at the event, and then you have to re-interview at Marchamps to become a finalist. So you're saying in Indiana you don't re-interview, but they like read the essays and then pick from that?
So the judges that interviewed the people at the first event were the same judges that interviewed the people at the second event, because we're really small and stuff.
Okay.
So they already knew before champs. So we just all kind of sat together and then they announced it.
Wait. That's so weird. Yeah. Yeah, no, like for us they announced that, finals or like the closing ceremony after doing the interviews.
So how many, just out of curiosity, how many people are there, how many teams are there in Indiana?
There's 49.
Okay, so I guess that's really the reason why they have 2 spots, is because that is like similar to a regional level size.
Mars like 150, I think.
And what, you guys had like 3 or 4 slots?
We have 4, I believe.
Yeah, I think Colin, and he's in.
I remember seeing a document somewhere that like listed all of this perfectly, and I'm struggling to find it at the moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. From what I remember, like Colin said, it was like 6 or something people, and then they like narrowed it down to like 3. So like, I remember after like his district event, he was like, "All right, so I am possibly gonna be a finalist." And no one understand it. So yeah, I guess finals nominee is like an unofficial thing. But yeah, that's how it works in districts. And I assume, because you're regional, they do it the same in Texas, right? Just finalists. Is that it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Semi-finalist to finalist right away.
Awesome. So I'm really glad that regionals have it all together. Pleb districts can't figure this out.
Yeah.
First they'll do something soon with it. I think as more places move to districts, they're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Because you can't be called a semi-finalist that's going to be considered to be a finalist.
They'll probably just change the nomination to being a quarterfinalist. I mean, my guess would be
something like that. Yeah,
and
I
then
guess
you'd
it would be like you quarterfinalist, semifinalist, finalist, if they want to go in the same way they do eliminations, which would like make sense. So yeah, that's how that works from event to event. I assume it's probably even more different in like Michigan, where there's like 500 teams. So hopefully, we could have like annotate something where I ask someone from Michigan. I don't think we actually have any Deansless finalists from Michigan, so I guess we'll have to ask someone else.
Mitchell!
But I don't know.
There's a winner from Michigan. So.
Okay, we'll invite him too. But yeah. So Michigan. Yeah, they probably do something different. I know in Canada, something to add when you do become a finalist, actually, they give you like gifts and a sweatshirt and stuff. So before we get off of like the finalist thing, you actually do get gifts in Canada. So yeah, you get like a Deansless sweatshirt, like a mug, and like a book, I think was what they gave this year. So along with the gifts you get at Champs, Canada does that. So I assume they're probably going to continue that when they move into districts this year, at least Ontario. And I don't know what the extra Canadian regional in the West is going to do. So yeah, now the Champs experience. So first of all, there are no interviews at champs. So this is kind of an interesting thing. I don't know if this will be like this forever, honestly, because I think when they're continuously there's gonna be more finalists, and they're not changing the amount of winners. So they're gonna have to be able to narrow everyone down easier. So I'm assuming eventually they're gonna move into interviews at champs, but right now, especially moving to 2, I wouldn't expect it this year. So in the years forward, I'm predicting that they actually do start interviews at champs. Right now, no interviews at champs. So the champs judges, all they do is get your essay, and then they go through all the essays and choose the 10 people. So it's 10 people from FRC, 10 people from FTC. So we haven't really talked much about the Dean's List FTC thing. It's even weirder than FRC. Had someone try to explain it to me. It's like they don't actually, some of them interviews don't even happen in person. Some of them are on Skype. So like, yeah, just totally weird. Not even to try to explain. We had originally someone in the episode that did FTC as well, but whatever, not happening. So yeah, FTC, it's totally different. So if you're an FTC person watching this, then throw out everything you learned, except the fact that there are finalists for FTC, and they have the same amount of spots. They have 10 winner spots for FTC. So I believe that's not changing going to Worlds, right?
No, that's what they told us when we were there. They're like, yeah, it's not changing.
All right, so I don't know if you know this. You probably don't. Are they splitting it up evenly between champs, or are they? No, okay, we don't know. All right, so I guess it could be going either way. Jesse, do you have any idea if they're splitting it up between champs or like just 10 people?
Like 5 and 5 or 10 and 10.
Would it be like 5 and 5, or like could it be like 2 and 8? Like it doesn't matter what champs.
I think, depending on, this is what I got from what they said.
Okay.
And I think they're doing 10 and 10.
Oh, are they actually doing 10 and 10?
I thought that's what I got from that, but they were kind of vague about it, so I could definitely be wrong.
All right, so we're not going to announce anything. So like just you'll find out soon enough. Whoop whoop. Okay, so yeah, Worlds is a little bit up in air in how they're gonna do that, but it's still gonna. I mean, finalists are still gonna progress to Worlds. I doubt there's gonna be some like super Dean's List thing, like where you win after winner between the 2 champs. So I assume there's gonna be 20 winners or 10 winners. We're not even sure at this point. All right, so yeah, at Worlds they just look at your essays, and there's basically 2 different events for Dean's List finalists at Worlds. So there's opening ceremonies. So if you've been to Worlds, you might notice there is these people in seats in front of the stage on the floor. Those are all the Dean's List finalists for FTC and FRC. Not everyone is there, so people that didn't qualify their teams can still go to Worlds, but their team doesn't actually qualify for Worlds. Some people are actually confused by this, because I know at least at my regional, they announced, okay, now we're going to go into awards that qualify you for champs. But, like, it doesn't qualify you for champs. It qualifies you for champs, sorta, like, yeah, so it does not qualify your team for champs. That would be awesome if it did, but it doesn't. And so some people elect not to go. I don't think there's actually ever been a winner that hasn't been in attendance, from what I know. So, most people do go, I'm pretty sure. I only saw a couple empty seats, so I'm assuming most people do go. Before you actually get to the opening ceremonies, you check in like a normal person. Most people, if they don't go with their team, they'll volunteer. So like I know on my field, I was feeling field reset on Newton this year. There was 2 other Dean's List finalists from on the field volunteering. So most people will volunteer if they're not with their team. You'll get a little Dean's List like ribbon for your badge. That'll be like your ticket in, and you'll get it in a gold envelope, and you'll be all happy. It'll have directions to how to get to the floor if you didn't know already, and it's all good. It's all good. So opening ceremonies is actually when they release the winners. So everyone's there. That's everyone from every single program, you know, junior FLL through FRC, although I'm sure most of the junior FLL people are sleeping because it's at night after practice day. No, wait. You know, it's after the first day of qualifications, right?
Thursday.
Yeah, well, it changed, didn't it, this year? I think so,
okay.
Yeah.
And it could be totally different next year because 2 champs. But this year, I believe it was after the first day of qualifications, if that was Thursday. Yeah, I think so. So it was on the later end when you actually got there. So yeah, basically they had like this weird band come and like play with their instruments, and then
Dude, that was awesome.
I was you like the steampunk jazz band?
Oh. It was beautiful.
Do you not remember the steampunk jazz band, Jessa?
Should have been called Steam Thunk.
Steampunk. That's good. I like it. Yeah, they probably had a name, but we can name them if we
I thought they
want.
just like came off the street. They
Yeah.
just like had instruments and just like wanted to play for people.
I honestly felt like that's where I first found them, but I think it was so basically they had this whole band thing, and everyone kept standing up and sitting down. It was a whole thing. I mean, whatever. So once they got done with that, they had like 54, more sponsors talk about first how great it is, and then finally, okay, they started releasing the winners. They did it like 5 at a time, and then bounced between FRC and FTC.
That was so weird.
Just to make everyone more mad and like make the cliffhanger worse. And then they went on the stage one by one. They gave them the trophy, shook everyone's hand, or hugged them. But we're not going to talk that because that's controversy. We're not getting into today. So yeah, they'll probably shake everyone's hand next year just to be safe, I'm assuming. And yeah, you get your trophy. Everyone stands up there. Everyone's happy, and that's opening ceremonies.
Yeah,
So
you don't
then-
actually get the trophy though.
You didn't actually get the trophy?
No.
No, they didn't
They
have
did
enough.
Wait, hold on. What?
What?
So-
They didn't have enough, so they mailed them. They mailed us the trophies later. Like they had the base that had our name on it, but they didn't have the like. I can get it.
Wait, hold up. So they had the base with your names on them, okay?
Yeah, so
But they didn't have the
it was-
trophy.
when we all got our swag bags the next day, which we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yep.
They gave us the base that had our name on it, but the clear piece of whatever that was we got, what Jessa has, we
So
didn't
they
get.
have these. They had these for us, but they didn't have these, which are all the same. It's got.
Well,
these
yeah, those are the
on
ones
it.
we got on stage. The clear ones.
Okay, so you got the little
But
plates.
they were just props. These aren't. These they didn't actually give them to us there. It's
Wait, so they gave you fake ones there.
pretty funny.
All right. Okay, that's interesting. That's a new thing we all heard today. So Burst did not order enough trophies. That's almost as
Don't-
good as my story
don't
about the
roast them.
certificate. So, I got, and my name is wrong everywhere now. So basically, somehow I have no clue how they did this. My name was Samuel Parkowski for the Dean's List Award this year. So at the regional, I got my, they got announced, and Parkowski and Parkowski sounds like the same thing when you're running down to get your award, right? And then I looked at the certificate, and it was spelled Parkowsky instead of Perkowsky. So it's spelled wrong everywhere. It's spelled wrong in the Blue Lions. It's spelled wrong on First website, and it was spelled wrong on my certificate. So then they had to like mail me a new one. That's spelled right, and it had a different font for my name, oddly enough, but totally random. So yep, you don't get trophies or certificates spelled name with your name spelled right, but you'll get it eventually. It's in the mail. It's coming. So yeah, that's opening ceremonies. Do they do anything with the winners after they get the award, or you just like stayed up there and then like come down and sit down?
Oh, we didn't sit down. We went off to the side, basically chatted, and didn't really listen to any of the other speeches.
Oh, well, so you didn't listen to any other speeches like everyone else in the building, but so you guys were like behind the stage-ish area, I guess, by like where they bring teams in for like.
Yeah, it was hard to hear there, so.
Gotcha. All right, so from there, the next day, I want to say it's the next day, is the Dean's List lunch. So, no, I don't want to answer your call. Thank you for calling me. So basically, yeah, the next day they have the Dean's List lunch. So they have like different speakers come. It's in like a weird part of the Champs Arena, at least this year. It was like I didn't even know you could get
It was
over
called
there.
like the America's Ballroom, wasn't it? I
Yeah,
think?
so you actually
Yeah.
had to walk past
Yeah.
where chairman's presentations are, and I guess this is probably helpful for anybody that's still in St. Louis next year. So you got to walk past where like the chairman's presentations are, and then like turn left. And you thought you were walking too far, but like eventually you saw like a red carpet, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm here. So then you go in there. There's like a bunch of Dean's List winners from other years, like walking around, like showing you where to go and stuff. And then there's like food on the tables. That is actually the food you're getting. So we were really confused. So we assumed like because it was just like sandwiches and popcorn. We assumed like there'd be other stuff coming, and like there wasn't. So whatever's on the table, that's your food. And
Steal
then
the popcorn thing. It's the best
oh yeah,
thing ever.
totally. So
Oh.
I stole the popcorn thing. And like you feel really awkward stealing the popcorn thing too, because there's one popcorn like bucket per table, and there's like 5 people per table. So I think Jess is getting up to get hers. I have mine in the background right over there.
I don't have one.
Oh, you don't have one?
No.
Okay.
I
Justin,
did.
did
I
you get a
did.
No, I
popcorn?
didn't get one either.
Okay. So
I got super lucky because I sat down at a table that was like just adult sponsors or something. Like I was the only Dean's List finalist, so I just kind of looked at them all, and they're like, "Take it, bro," and I'm just so happy.
yeah, there was like 4 people at my table, and everyone was trying to be all like courteous and stuff. Like, no, I don't want it. If you want it, and I'm just like, I'll take it. I don't care. Like, I want this
I
popcorn.
just took the cookies.
Oh, you could take the cookies. That's right. You could take the cookies. So
I
yeah,
just
and
took
then
like 7 cookies and put them in my pocket. And left.
yeah. So I don't know if I was the only person that did that. I actually ate all the popcorn that was in my bucket too.
Oh, I totally did, dude. I brought it home and I was snacking on it.
Yeah, so
and-
I actually had it on
yeah.
the plane, and I was sitting there on the plane with this giant bucket, okay, eating popcorn on the way home. So, popcorn bucket, like, don't try to be courteous. That's the message of the story. Just be like, I want the popcorn bucket, so I'm gonna take it, and that's cool, okay? And yeah, so that's the popcorn bucket. So, that's something like you found out here first. No one really knows that until you got there. And apparently that was a thing, like, going every year, because I was at like some barbecue place the night before it, and this like senior mentor was like talking to me, and then he was just like, "Oh yeah, there's gonna be popcorn buckets," and I'm just like, "What?" Like,
Yeah,
what
my
are you
one
talking
friend
about?
who won the year before me, she also told me about that. She's like, make sure you get the popcorn bucket. So
So,
I was prepared.
yeah, so there's gonna be like wars over the popcorn bucket this year after this episode, but whatever. Just make sure you get it, okay? Win the war, get the popcorn bucket, eat the popcorn. It's fun. So yeah, that was enough on the popcorn.
It's really
bucket.
good popcorn too. Oh,
It was really good popcorn. So
yeah.
high quality
I
popcorn.
didn't have
It was a nice bucket. You really missed out, Jet. I'll ship over some. I don't think there's some like kernels probably left at the bottom. I don't think I ever really cleaned it. It's a little old,
I
but
showed up late.
you showed up late to the luncheon.
Yeah, so my mentor was like in the pit and kind of lost track of time, so we showed up late and all the tables were full that had food. So we sat at the front at a table with no food, so we just like grabbed food off of other tables.
Nice. I showed up late, but I actually knew ahead of time because I had a match right before that I was driving. So we just let them know, and they're like, "Oh yeah, just come in. We'll save you a spot." And we did, and it worked out.
Yeah, I was actually there with Colin, the other person that was supposed to be on today's episode. So like, I found him. He was also volunteering. So like, we found each other and like found the place, and it took us a little while because it was in a weird spot. But we did, and then I took the popcorn bucket. So basically, from there at the Dean's List Luncheon, you have your lunch that's sitting on the table, and then they go through like 5 sponsors. There was one from like the Air Force. There was like an MIT admissions officer or something like that. There was some other people that talked. for a
MIT
little
and
while.
Yale, and that's the controversy that I'm hoping we get to.
Wait, there was there was some controversy. I don't know.
Oh, you didn't see the post on Delphi?
I missed it. Okay.
It
Let's
was
hear it.
it's the one guy from Bronkbots that I don't want to make anybody mad right now, but he seems to start things more than the average CD user, and so he started a thread. I'm not sure whether he had a kid. I don't really know the backstory.
Was it the hugs
I have
versus handshakes? Because I know about that one.
no. It was the like accusing MIT and Yale of not actually being interested in Dean's List finalists.
Oh.
And like he was like, let me know if anybody has ever gotten MIT or Yale, because
I
I
sort of
think it's a
remember
load of
this.
crap.
I still remember
And
this. Yeah.
yeah, there was kind of a big thing, and people were like, you're taking it too literally. Dean's List doesn't have the same requirements as college admissions, and yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
MIT is my top pick this year, so
Hopefully it
we'll
makes
see.
a difference.
We'll see, but like, yeah, it was a thing.
Okay, well that's interesting. Yeah, I mean you're not getting into. It's gonna help college. Like Dean's List finalist,
Right.
Dean's List winner, even Dean's List semifinalist is gonna help you get into college a little bit. It's like an extracurricular add-on, like award sort of thing. It's gonna help you, but it's not gonna get into your MIT if you have an 80 average. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Yeah, the
Because
thing
it
is, I
says
mean,
that-
they do. The admissions officers do kind of butter it up a little bit. They're like, "Oh, we want you. Like,
Yeah.
we will admit you." Kind of, not really. And then the MIT guy goes like, "Oh, we don't go to any college fairs except for Dean's List luncheons." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
That was interesting, actually. He was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, we don't come anywhere except for here." And I was just like, "All right, that's kind of cool." I mean, I don't have grades to get into MIT, but if I did, I would think that was cool. So yeah, they talk. Apparently, that was a controversy. I don't remember that. I sort of remember that. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Of course, they're not going to let you in just because you won Dean's List. You're not getting into MIT.
Yeah, they told us that 4 people who were Dean's List winners last year applied, and 3 got in. Oh no, I don't know how many applied. 4 got in and 3 went.
All right, to MIT.
Yeah.
All right, so that's some good odds. All right, so you heard it here first. The controversy is fake. I know. Like one Dean's List winner from like 2015 was like saying how they were like waitlisted to WPI and how it doesn't help you at all, and like, yeah, it's not gonna help you that much, but it's definitely a really cool thing to put on your college applications. So, that done with that controversy. There's other speakers there. They talked for a while. Then Dean talked for like 40 minutes. When I said like when I was talking to my volunteer coordinator, like, oh yeah, I'll be back after it's over, and he's just like, all right, so it could be anywhere from like an hour to like 2 hours, and I'm like, what do you mean by that? He's like, well, sometimes Dean talks for longer. So, yeah, Dean sometimes talks for different amount of times. I assume he'll be at both Dean's List luncheons, even though 2 champs is a thing. They are different weeks, so hopefully, I assume. And he'll give you the whole random talk. I don't remember what the topic was this year, but like, I don't even think it was like that related to Dean's List, if I remember correctly. The Dean's List
He
luncheon.
talked about his mom for a while.
Yeah, I honestly I
Yeah.
don't
That
remember.
was nice.
Yeah, it was a nice speech. It's all online, so like that's actually all published on the internet if you want to go watch it, and learn what you're about to get into, I guess. But yeah, that's a thing. The Dean's List luncheon is a thing. And then after that, you go and get your gift. So I think with winners, you guys have to stay for a picture. If I read that email correctly, right? So there's then a picture, and then everyone goes to like some other random room that you have to like go around the entire champs area to find to pick up these bags. So I actually have my bag here. Adam has a bunch of the stuff he got in it. So it says Dean's List Award. Did you guys get the same bags?
Nope.
Okay, so did yours? Do you have your? Do you have
I think theirs are
yes,
nicer,
there is.
aren't they?
Probably. I mean, it would make
I
sense.
don't know my
Ours are
school
kinda
stuff.
All right, yeah. So you guys have different
Ours
bags.
says winner.
Yeah, so ours just say award. So they don't say finalists. That's kind of cool. So everyone's like, yeah, it doesn't matter which one you were. And yeah, so you get a bag. It's full of stuff. It's a teddy bear. You guys also got different gifts. I know you guys like got like bigger gift cards and stuff. I guess you.
Yeah, we got the same stuff you got, but then more.
Right. So I guess we'll talk about what we got, and then you guys can go with what you got. So we got a teddy bear. Yep. So got mine. You know, this is the best thing in the gift bag. So everything else, we got a pair of headphones. So I think everyone.
Oh, these are so cool. I use these all the time.
Oh really? So
They look really weird.
I never
Yeah,
actually used them.
I really like them.
All right.
Yeah,
Maybe
they're
I should actually
Bluetooth.
find them. Yeah. So they
Yeah.
get
I always
Bluetooth
let them die,
What
but
is that?
you know.
Bluetooth headphones?
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't used those yet.
Yeah, so they came in like some like random white box at the bottom, and like everyone's like,
Oh yeah, the
"Is that
packaging
headphones?"
was like really fancy. I was like, what even is this? And then I
Yeah.
opened it.
It was
like,
like
oh,
wrapped
this is my
I think,
ear.
or something like that. Okay, and then there was
Yeah.
a water bottle, not like a water bottle, like a mug.
Well, I think they called it a tumbler. It's like a coffee cup.
Yeah, it's like a coffee mug thing.
Got a nice little snap
Yeah,
open.
it's a really high quality cup. So
It is. I
so-
drink out of it all the time.
Yeah. There's a pin. So if this one says finalist, so I'm assuming you guys want one that said winner, and it's like
Yeah.
a very nice metal pin.
It was gold and stuff.
Yeah, and I think I just kind of broke it. Because I can't really reclasp it, so oops. And there was other stuff. There was a couple other things, right?
I think
Yeah.
that was all we got, wasn't it?
Oh, there was a $20 Amazon gift card, or was it
Oh,
25?
yeah, I used that.
Yeah.
It was 20 or 25.
Yeah, it was something like that. I know, like, Alistair was having a problem. So we have someone on the F4 who's a Dean's List finalist from Australia, and, like, Amazon's all, like, not, like, the same Amazon, and it's very different country to country, so, yeah, he was like, oh, how do I spend this? Because I gotta spend it at the US Amazon, and, like, yeah. So if you're from Australia, good luck with the Amazon gift card. That's the thing. So I think that was it. Either Zaria or Jessa can go into what you guys got for the winners.
Yeah, we got $100 from Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of paper.
So like, like straight up like
Uh,
rolls of paper, or like what is this? Like?
like a WPI thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's
oh
some
yeah, okay.
camp.
So part of winning Dean's List is they give you a Southwest voucher, and then they also give you a scholarship to the WPI summer engineering camp that they have.
Okay.
So most people use at least part of their Southwest voucher to go to the camp. The camp is free for them. They have a full tuition scholarship to it.
Okay.
We had a couple of winners go this year, and they had a good time. And then we also get the trophy. Trophy's cool. We get a letter of recommendation from Dean Kamen. So there's only like, I don't know, like 20.
So that's cool.
Is it personalized or is it just like a generic like
Somewhat personalized.
like more than just your name like pasted into it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
You guys gotta go compare yours after this. Like, all right, so mine says this.
I'm pretty sure they were just like Zarya instead of Jessa.
Okay. So it's
But-
not like they like read your essay and then work it into a
Yeah, I don't
recommendation.
think so.
Okay.
All right, but it
I
still
don't
needs
know, though.
something. I'm sure college is like, okay, so they got a recommendation from Dean Kamen. That's a new one. It definitely.
In case they don't know, the college doesn't know who Dean Kamen is, there's like a white paper to describe what the letter is and what the award is and why you won it and why you're super cool or whatever. So
Alright.
that's nice too.
Yeah,
Just in case
definitely.
they don't know who Dean Kamen is.
They should know who Dean Kamen is. I mean, he made the Coke freestyle machines, right? So
Yeah. Why don't you know him?
But yeah, I guess that's kind of like. I guess is there anything else that comes in the little gift
Oh,
bag?
the paper telling you the date of the summit
Okay.
and inviting you to the summit.
Yeah. So the summit's at like his
Summit
house,
was
right?
the best part.
All right.
Yeah, summit.
So let's hear about this summit. One of you guys can tell the whole story of how the summit works.
Well, you get there on a flight,
Okay.
which they pay for,
Beautiful.
to New Hampshire. Right, New Hampshire.
Yep.
Manchester.
Whoever thought they were going to New Hampshire, right? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to a bunch of different places. We went to MIT
Okay.
for a tour. That was cool. Yeah, and then we also
Wait,
went.
You guys went all the way
So
down
you
to
go
Boston.
you go to Yeah, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Go to New Hampshire. We stay the night in New Hampshire, and then we wake up at like 5 in the morning to drive to Boston to go to MIT.
It would be a lot cheaper for them if they flew you into Boston. But I guess I guess like it's sponsor paid for it, so whatever. So then you went and got a tour of MIT. Then what?
What did we do that night? I don't know. We also went. Man, we did so much stuff. It's hard to remember.
Well, you tore like DECA, right? I remember
after-
hearing that from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did we do after
After
MIT?
We did the supplier summit.
Oh, right. So that night we went to Dean's house,
Okay.
Which
Oh,
is,
that
like-
was cool.
kind of in Manchester, but kind of not. His house is cool.
Yeah.
It's
I've
his
seen-
hexagonal mansion. It's actually a hexagonal mansion.
It has like the big wheel and stuff in it and stuff.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So like you get it, and there's just like a steam engine sitting there, and you're like, okay, I guess that's just a steam engine sitting there. And then we got a tour, and like just like all around the house are these like really cool gifts, and like so his company Deca every year gives him like a Christmas present, and like the Christmas presents are like demonstrating engineering concepts. So there's like, I don't know, there's like a robot that plays chess
Oh,
and will
yeah.
beat you every time. There's like a pendulum clock that's like hanging through the middle of his house from the ceiling, and it like actually works and it'll reset itself. There's just like lots of different like really cool stuff around the house, and you just kind of like they'll give you the formal tour and like explain everything, and then they'll just be like, okay, now you guys go, and we're like, this is his house. So like we went to his theater, just like kind of his machine shop is amazing, by the way. And then kind of just afterwards they just like let us loose, and then a bunch of really cool people started showing up, and we're like, you guys are really cool. So like Dean came in and Woody Flowers were just like chatting in the corner. We're like, I guess it's just Dean came in and Woody Flowers, no biggie. And then like Frank Merrick shows up, Don Bosey, just like everyone, all the big firsters, and then we just like kind of talking to them, and Dean was like, this isn't just a free dinner, you have to talk to them, and so we just like talk to them. Like it was a bunch of the suppliers, like Andy
Baker.
I don't know a lot of names, but
Yeah, I know. I with that, Andy Baker was actually the Dean's List Summit was the week before right before the Catathon, so Andy Baker was actually getting back from the Dean's List Summit the night of it. So he got back from the Dean's List Summit on his flight, and then he went home and then realized like his home computer couldn't handle opening up all the CAD files. So then he like ran over to Andy Mark, and then he's sitting in Andy Mark for the episode with like 5 computers all processing the step files. So yeah, interesting story to go along with that.
Yeah. And then So we had dinner there actually in one of his hangars.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to take pictures, by the way, so that was a thing. Kind of sad about that, but it was his house,
No, you
so
weren't allowed to take pictures.
no, we weren't allowed to take
Oh.
pictures.
I've seen pictures
Oh,
from a friend whose dad,
I have.
who's like passed away now, but he was friends with Dean Kamen, and so she like slept at his house and like showed me pictures. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen like you see like they sometimes do like the intro videos inside of his house, and like you see like his helicopter pad sometimes, and he has his island too. I don't think you guys went to his island, right?
No, we didn't go to the island.
Yeah, his island's closer
Just
to.
hexagonal mansion. I mean,
Yeah,
really.
just the hexagonal mansion.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
we had dinner,
Okay.
and one of the FTC people spoke about something, about like her life story. I
It
guess.
was her robotic story. It was really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So it was in his hangar. So they have like all of the suppliers who supply the kit of parts at this really big dinner. They have a couple of speakers, and then they just like have this ginormous like catered dinner, and the food's really good. They gave us lobster.
Yeah, they
Okay.
gave us lobster, trying to figure out how to open the stupid lobster.
Now, once you open the lobster, all right. So you guys had this was at his house, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had a dinner at his house. And there's still stuff going on, I'm pretty sure, right? Because then you guys go and visit the first headquarters.
Yeah, the next day we go visit.
No,
Oh.
not yet.
No, yeah.
The panel.
The panel, yeah.
So we had breakfast with all of the suppliers for the first kit of the first robotics competition kit of parts.
Okay.
And then they asked a few of the winners to be a part of a panel, and we just like kind of sat on a stage. They asked us questions about like what we thought of the kit of parts, what needed to be added, what didn't necessarily needed to be there, what worked, what didn't work. It was really interesting. It was a good experience. Hopefully we'll see some cool stuff in the kit of parts next year. And then we just kind of talked with the suppliers a little bit, and then we went to DECA? Is that when
Deca.
we went to DECA?
No, first HQ, we met Frank.
That was
Yeah.
then? Okay.
Yeah, and they asked us
Um,
angles.
So wait, so then you went to first HQ. So after you had like the panel, so I got the kit of parts, and I assume you're not allowed to tell us like if they said anything about this year's kit of parts. That's probably all secret, right? Right.
I mean, it wasn't anything super secret, so.
All right. So yeah. So I guess you told them that you don't need those little spin things that you put on the carbon rods from. I don't know. I don't know if anybody can figure out what I'm talking about. But it's like the little it's like a ball inside of it's a sort of bearing type thing. It's from from the company that makes the chain.
Yeah.
Uh,
You basically told them that you have a voucher, we don't necessarily know what the company is,
okay.
so they need to tell us what their company is that's giving us a voucher.
All right. Cool.
That was the summary of the hour-long panel.
Nice. All right. So then you guys went to first HQ. So I assume that's pretty. Oh wait, you went to DECA or first? Which one happened?
First HQ,
We
I
stopped
think.
at first HQ really quickly,
Okay.
and then, I'm getting an update for my team. It's IGUS. Is that the
Right. That's
company?
it. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
My team is watching. Shout out to the Robonauts.
All right. So thank you, Robonauts, for understanding what I was talking about. Okay. The little IGUS things that spin. Okay. We have like 100 of them and never have used them. So that they don't need to be there. They're wasting money on us at least. All right. So.
I was kidding. Oh, okay.
Oh, were you actually
So we
kidding?
just like, what's up?
Were you kidding about that? Or I mean, because
No, I was-
IGUS is the
I was
company.
kidding when I said I hated my team.
Oh.
Roasting me on the chat.
Your team's awesome.
So-
They friended me on Facebook.
Huh?
Your team's awesome. They friended me on Facebook.
Nice. Okay.
My
So then
team
we're
is awesome.
okay. So your first HQ. So is that when you got like a tour of it, or did you just get like a quick?
We
Thing.
didn't really
That
get a
part-
tour of first HQ.
We split up with FTC, so we were like, FTC kind of like did the opposite of us, and we just like switched orders.
Okay.
So when we went to first HQ, that was when we had, we just went to this conference room and we met with the game design committee, and then we kind of like asked them questions
Okay.
about games. Like previous
Is it
games.
true they show you the game under like a non-disclosure agreement?
No.
I've heard that. Okay.
So
Sorry,
Zaria
why
said
did you
no.
give that away? You heard
What?
it first.
It was a joke at like midnight in my hotel room.
Now my team knows that I don't know the game.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Wait, just kidding. Did you tell us the game? We just can't tell you.
Huh?
We
Yeah.
just can't tell you the game. Sorry.
I have the whole robot catted, by the way, so we just
Yeah.
we're getting there. Honestly, if I had the game, I don't even think I could control myself from doing that. Like without telling anybody, I would just sit there on my computer, like, and just start catting stuff for it. But whatever. So you guys got like a little tour of First HQ. I guess probably one of the reasons they split with FTC is because even if you were actually getting a tour of it, FTC doesn't really have that much history. It's only been around for like 3 years, and before it was Vex, and I don't think they want to talk about that. So, okay, so you got a
Vex.
quick tour
Love
of
X.
of the first headquarters, and then you went to DECA. So what's
Yeah.
going on? Okay.
Deck is cool.
Yeah.
They're
so-
like research and development, and all these products that you thought were made by other companies were really made by Deca,
Okay.
basically. And they couldn't show us very much because of intellectual property or something like that.
Right, because NDAs don't actually cover kids, which was why, like, when you actually posted that thing on Chief Delphi, of course, everyone in the F4 chat saw that, and then just tried to debunk the entire thing. So everyone's just like, but, like, NDAs don't cover kids, they wouldn't do that, right? And someone's just like, well, no one would give it away. And someone's like, no, people would. And then, like, people started pulling up, like, legal documents about, like, NDAs and stuff. It got, like, really intense. So apparently that was all. Well, I thank Saria for starting that whole, tinfoil hat, extravaganza. So alright, so then you got Deca, is that it? Or is there other stuff going on?
Deca, we had lunch with Dean Kamen.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He was having surgery or something. Yeah, surgery, cataract removal.
Okay.
LOL.
I assume he's
Yeah.
okay, right?
He gave us a book.
Alright.
What's up?
He gave us a book.
Ooh, I have
The
it.
book. The awesome book.
It's
Jess
not-
is gonna get a book.
It's not the behind the design book with Jessa's team sitting on
No.
the front and the back, right? 'Cause
It's
that'll be like.
Books they only give to Dean's List winners
Oh,
and
interesting.
Deca
Okay.
employees.
So,
So-
like, all the engineering presents that I was talking about, that, like, he has in his house, it's like
Yeah.
30 years worth of them. We got this
Uh-huh.
book.
And there's a
Super
book with
big.
all of them in it? Interesting.
People signed it for us. It's
Alright,
awesome.
a bunch of
Signature.
gold pages. Okay, there's
Can you see?
signatures. Yeah, I can.
Dean Kamen.
Okay, cool. Alright, so yeah, they got a book with a bunch of Deca things in it that only Dean's List winners and Deca employees get. So yeah, that's really cool. And then you go home, right? Because you guys are
No.
already making me jealous. Okay, let's hear the rest.
No, and then we went to what did we do in the afternoon?
I don't know.
Oh, we went
wait.
to TED Talk with Michelle.
Was it a TED Talk now?
Ooh, L Talk was lit. Okay. So, basically, what they did was this is when we reunited with FTC. So we all get in this big room, and then we just kind of, I don't want to give the magic away.
I just said we had to talk about like alumni and our roles and stuff.
Yeah, just like generally alumni, we kind of worked on some
Secret
some
project.
projects. Yeah, I don't know. You'll just have to see for yourselves.
Ooh.
It was pretty good experience. And then after we talked with Michelle with the big group, we got
Okay.
into our fancy getup, the polo that Zaria is wearing.
Yeah.
Like,
Polo
yeah.
first.
Nice.
We had our dinner with Dean. He wasn't there.
So you're just eating. Wait, so it was a dinner with Dean and he wasn't there?
He was recovering from surgery.
Right. Okay, so that makes sense why he wasn't there.
So that's why he had
Gotcha.
lunch with us. The plan
Gotcha.
kind of like flip flop. But like all the other famous people were there. Food was good. We had it in the what's that place called?
First place.
First place. That makes sense. It was like first up there, or whatever. It was like a playground. It was really cool.
Yeah, I think we destroyed 254's robot there.
Wait, so
Oh, yeah, they got
254's
the-
robot was there?
254's 2014 World Championship winning robot. It was
Or
there.
their practice robot? No one knows the difference because they're both powder coated.
Yeah, but they were just like they were just trying to figure out how it worked, and I think they kind of touched it a lot. Sorry.
I think
They
I
have, like,
studied
a-
their engineering notebook again enough. I can explain it at this point, but So 254's 2014 robot was there. That's interesting. I know there's like people's like 1992 robots there, like they can't get, right?
Yeah.
So is there just
There's
like
also the Stronghold Castle was there.
all right,
The boulders, so we had a little bit of fun there.
just a castle sitting there, just casually, and then I guess there was like probably like other years worth of like game pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They just like keep them all there. There's a bunch of them. We were playing with them.
It was like
And then they have like
things.
Like the Tetras from like
Yeah, the Tetras.
Interesting. So and then I guess do they have other world championships winning bots there other than 254s?
not
Oh.
there's like one other that's on display and then I assume the others are like hidden.
Yeah, they had to clean up a lot for the dinner since we had dinner there. So
Oh,
we
It was
had to
like
clean up a
first
lot.
place is like brand new. Like they just renovated it.
right. All right. So then you got dinner. Was there anything else after that? Did you like tour around the first HQ more or
Oh, we
Um,
convinced Frank.
so what did you convince Frank to do? Was that
We convinced
Maybe
Frank
flowers
to go to
top.
the door.
Oh, and so you convinced him to do the prank basically?
Was it a prank? Or did we really go beyond the door? We're not allowed to say.
All right. So, you got the game, you got to see it, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And
Game
then was there
confirmed.
anything?
Then we went back to hotel and we stayed up till like 1 a.m. I think.
Party.
Yeah, partying. Yeah.
And then you went home?
Well,
After me and Zarya,
yeah, it's like.
So, can I hear?
that was the
let's-
worst. That was the worst thing
Well,
ever.
Did your
see,
flight get canceled?
Manchester is really small,
Right.
and they really only fly to Baltimore for some reason. All the flights to Baltimore were canceled.
Beautiful. So you guys had to stay over the night, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, both me and Zarya had to stay an extra day in Manchester because of problems, because of weather and like runway traffic in Baltimore. It was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
It's
'Cause
funny
we were like
that
all
actually.
excited. We were like, "Oh, the same flight," and then
No, that was probably a
not
bad
gonna
thing.
start dropping game hits.
But yeah, that actually the same thing happened to me with IRI. Like, and that's not a small airport either. It's one of the big New York
No.
airports.
Yeah, Indy's not a small airport.
Yeah, so Indy's not a small airport, although the problem wasn't there. The problem was actually in New York. So there's two main airports in the city. Don't fly out of LaGuardia, okay? That's the really congested one. Fly out of JFK. So just pro tip, because my flight was canceled for the day, and there was like nothing you can do. Like there wasn't. Then they wanted to put me on a flight the next day in like 6 o'clock in the morning to go to Boston to then go to Indianapolis. Okay, Adam dropped. We'll get him back. And then Okay, he's back. Cool. So maybe he's back.
Who knows?
We'll figure it out. So yeah, then whatever. It was a mess. I ended up getting to IRI a day late, but whatever.
No, I drove to IRI,
Yeah, because you live there.
hour
basically.
away.
All right, so I guess that was the summit. So you might get your flight canceled. Just know that's a possibility. Because Manchester, New Hampshire is small.
Okay, so that was like we found
Back.
out pretty late in the game
Okay.
that our flights were canceled, and specifically Miriam did an amazing job of getting us flight scheduled immediately, getting us the hotel booked for the night. So shout out to First because we could have been homeless. Or I guess we
Yeah, they were super great about it because I think about half of us couldn't get home and stuff. So they were like trying to find flights for us and stuff like this, and they were able to get us on flights to get home at reasonable hours and stuff. So First did a really great job taking care of us when stuff went crazy.
All right.
Thanks, First.
So you heard it here first. First will accommodate you when your flight gets canceled. So just don't fear. Okay, they will help you. And I guess that's kind of the experience, right? And then you go home with all your stuff that you won, and your shirts and your trophies and your piece
Blankets.
of paper. Oh, there's
Blankets,
blankets.
towels.
Oh, well, I have mine.
There's a blanket and towel too.
Yeah, so when we got to the hotel, they actually gave us towels, not
Okay.
blankets, that were like embroidered with First logo on it. Is that the blanket or the towel? It's the
It's a
blanket.
blanket, but the towel's the same, pretty much.
Towel's different, but yeah.
All right.
It's like it has more first stuff on it.
All right.
Yeah,
So
just
you,
like, yeah.
so basically, you get a bunch of stuff. Okay. So if you win, you don't have to have anything that's not first in your house anymore. They will supply everything you need. I mean, I already have half the stuff I own as first. Like, I use a first branded toothbrush from 3940. Okay. You know,
Cybertooth!
yeah, everyone just uses their toothbrushes. I'm sure in Indiana, right? Like, they
Oh,
give them
yeah,
out every
definitely.
competition. First branded toothbrush. You know, the towel with the blanket. You really you don't need anything else. So. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the idea. We actually did stretch this out to an hour, believe it or not. In fact, more. Guess that was just going through the entire summit was half of it. So the summit's really cool. So win, and then you can go there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This has been the 22nd episode of F4. I actually have to do stuff after this, so I'm not gonna stay on for very long. No after show today, but it's been good. Just so you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, we now have this in podcast form. So every single episode of F4 has been converted to podcast form. It's on our SoundCloud. It's also on our website. So if you want to go there, every single episode has a little SoundCloud link underneath of it. So if you want to listen to this on the way to like First HQ, then you totally can. And we also have shirts available as usual. We've got some more orders in of those, and all the feedback's been really good. They're really high quality. They are on the more expensive side, so you're talking like $25-30 for them, but they are not gonna get ruined the first time you put them in the wash. So, to give your take with that. There's teddy bears too, so if you didn't win Dean's List, you want an F4 teddy bear, it's there. So anyway, thank you for watching this episode. Everyone say goodbye.
Bye!
Alright, so I'm just going to go start season, and